Welcome, everybody, to the Die Hard Football Podcast. I am Christopher Mabry, and today we have a special episode. We're taking you around the gridiron, mainly talking about the indoor and arena leagues. So, without further ado, let's begin with the Indoor Football League. They are starting their 2025 season with 14 teams divided into two divisions, and it's going to be a race to see which 8 teams, 4 in each division, will make the playoffs. Now, it is going to be a 19-week regular season, each team with 3 byes. So it's going to be an interesting season. 2 teams are not going to be in the IFL this year. The Duke City Gladiators out of New Mexico and the Frisco Fighters out of Frisco, Texas. They are not going to be joining the IFL season as they have laid dormant this year. Also laying dormant is the Sioux Falls Storm. They are not going to be competing this year. That one has been announced at the start of, well, actually pretty much at the end of last season. As for this season, we're going to start off week 1 with 3 very, very, very good teams in week 1. You have the Jacksonville Sharks taking on the Massachusetts Pirates, kicking off Friday at 6:05 Central Time. Then you also have the Green Bay Blizzard taking on the Quad City Steamwheelers. That game at 7:05. And then Saturday, to end week 1 in our triple header week, you have the Tulsa Oilers taking on the San Antonio Gunslingers. Now, last season it shaped up like this in the IFL standings. In the Eastern Conference, you had the Green Bay Blizzard making the playoffs with the best record in that conference, 13-3. Frisco Fighters, who are not in the IFL this year, they finished in second, 13-3. 8-8 teams were the Massachusetts Pirates and the Quad City Steamwheelers. Tulsa Oilers went 6-10. Jacksonville Sharks 5-11. Iowa Barnstormers 5-11. And the Sioux Falls Storm, who are not in the IFL this year, 3-13. Then you have in the Western Conference, the Bay Area Panthers at 13-3, best record in that conference. The Vegas Nighthawks 11-5. Arizona Rattlers 11-5. And the San Diego Strike Force at 10-6. Teams that didn't make the playoffs are the Northern Arizona Wranglers, who finished 9-7. 8-8 record in this conference goes to the San Antonio Gunslingers. Duke City Gladiators, who are not in the IFL this year, not competing in general, they finished with 3-13 record. And then you have the Tucson Sugar Skulls, who finished pretty much bottom of the barrel overall at 2-14. This year, you're going to have a new team joining the IFL out of Indiana, the proud state of Pat McAfee. You have the Fishers Freight. They're going to join the Eastern Conference along with Green Bay Blizzard, Iowa Barnstormers, Jacksonville Sharks, Massachusetts Pirates, Quad City Steamwheelers, and the Tulsa Oilers. In the Western Conference, You have the Arizona Rattlers, the Bay Area Panthers, the Northern Arizona Wranglers, the San Antonio Gunslingers, the San Diego Strike Force, Tucson Sugar Skulls, and the Vegas Nighthawks. That is going to be your squad, your 14 teams, heading into the IFL season. Now, there are some rule changes to the IFL this season. These were made in Arizona in January. Any kicked ball that passes through the end zones without touching the field of play will now be marked at the kicking team's 20-yard line. The previous adjustment to the 25-yard line has been removed for consistency. If the team by leading for 14 points or fewer has possession of the ball during the last minute, they must gain yardage. Otherwise, the clock will stop. The former rule requiring positive yardage in the final minute of each game has been reinstated. A linebacker who desires a blitz, or who declares a blitz, may now rush from inside or outside the alley. The league has eliminated the restriction on linebackers blitzing outside of the alley. Defensive linemen are now permitted to execute twist moves. Before they were not. The 1 yard grace for wide receivers in motion crossing the line of scrimmage has been removed. A receiver's foot crossing the line at the snap will now be considered a false start. Other body parts such as the knee, hand, or head will not determine the penalty. That's pretty much it on what's going on in the IFL. Heading into their 2025 season. One thing of note, their games are not going to be on YouTube. They have created their own IFL network. You can find that information on iflnetwork.com. It is, I think you have to purchase their plan at either $9 a month or $25 for the entire month. Make your own highlights is one of the key features. You can watch all of the games there, as well as past archived games. So check that out. It is going to be the IFL Network, iflnetwork.com, where you can find information and how to watch. Next, we have the Arena Football 1, or the AF1. Long story short, they were the AFL. And they just decided to rename. But they are heading into their third week of play. Week 2 schedule. Week 3 overall, because they played a week 0. Kind of like in college, but this is technically week 2 of the season. And the teams are Albany Firebirds in the East, Nashville Cats in the East, Corpus Christi Tritons, Salina Liberty, and Southwest Kansas Storm in the Central, Billings Outlaws, Oregon Lightning, and Washington Wolfpack in the West. That's how it shapes up right now. I'm trying to find the standings. There we go. I have the standings. So let's look at this week's games. You got heading into March 21st, which is on Friday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. You have the Southwest Kansas Storm taking on the Albany Fire. And then that'll be on Vice TV. And then March 22nd, which is Saturday at 9 p.m., 8 p.m. Central. Live on Evergreen, which is their free streaming platform where you can see IFL games. It's the Oregon Lightning, or AFL games. It is the Oregon Lightning taking on the Washington Wolfpack. Now, heading into the standings, you have Albany, who hasn't played yet. Nashville Cats are 0-1. In the Central Division, you have the Southwest Kansas Storm at 2-0. Corpus Christi's 1-0. And you have the Salina Liberty at 0-1. In the West, you have the Billings Outlaws at 1-0. Washington Wolfpack at 0-1. And the Oregon Lightning at 0-1. So right now, out of a 15-week season, not a lot of stuff going on. It is a young season. One thing of note, teams will play 12. We'll play 12 games over 15 weeks, featuring both divisional and cross-division games. There will be 3 weeks of playoffs, the wild card, the semifinals, and then a week off before the Arena Bowl. I'm trying to see how many teams will play in the playoffs. So, I'm sure there's going to be 6 teams in the playoffs. But I can't find that anywhere. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's go to the National Arena League, the NAL, and it has been an interesting one at that. The National Arena League, you can find their games online. Hold on. You can find their games on YouTube under the National Arena League YouTube page. And in that division, or in that league, I should say, there are 9 teams in that one. As I pull up the standings. Good old standings. So right now you have the Columbus Lions, Omaha Beef, Carolina Cobras, a new team, Beaumont Renegades, Sioux City Bandits, Colorado Stampede, or Spartans, I mean. A new team, Corpus Christi Tritons, the Wheeling Miners, a new team, an expansion team, Shreveport Rougarous, and the Idaho Horsemen. So right now you have Columbus at 1-0, Omaha Beef at 2-0, Carolina Cobras at 1-1, the Beaumont Renegades at 1-0, Sioux City Bandits at 1-1, Colorado Spartans are also at 1-1. Corpus Christi, nothing. Wheeling Miners at 0-2. The Shreveport Rougarous are 0-1. And the Idaho Horsemen are also 0-1. You have the Carolina Cobras taking on the Columbus Lions Friday, March 21st. And then on Saturday, March 22nd, you have the Wheeling Miners taking on the Shreveport Rougarous. That is it for our Around the Gridiron series for today, covering all things indoor and arena football. Hope you guys enjoy that. I made a preview video before all of these seasons kicked off. You can watch that in the description of this video in the pinned comment below. And with that, enjoy football. We're almost in the draft, heading into the draft, April 24th. I'll be live over on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. Probably because broadcast live here on the Die Hard Football Podcast as well. We will cover the first round of the NFL draft. Come on over, April 24th, at the start of the draft. We'll have that. And with that, enjoy the